President Cyril Ramphosa will address the 11th Speakers Summit that's currently underway in Hermanus. This is a historic event as it's the very first of its kind. SABC News reporter Bulelani Phillip is there and is covering this story for us. Bulelani, talk to us a little bit more about this.
Good morning to you, Leanne, from a windy town of Claremont. This is where this 11th G20 Parliamentary Speakers Summit is taking place. Of course, yesterday when the Speaker of the National Assembly, Ms. Togo Didiza, was addressing us as the media, she said that this summit must not only about aspirations but about actions. And significantly, she's saying that it's also a call for a reshaping of global governance. I think that's such a bold statement to make. And of course, the discussions that will be taking place here at this summit will be informing the G20 Leaders Summit that will be taking place in Johannesburg next month. And as you've said in your intro, the president was expected to be the keynote address that will be delivered by him later on this morning. But late last night, we received the news that he will no longer be coming here. Instead, he will be dispatching the Justice and Constitutional Development Minister, Mamuloko Kubayi. Of course, the key themes that are emanating from this summit, Leanne, is issues of reduction of debt and debt service costs amongst the developing economies, also issues of financing climate change, also issues of financing renewable energy. But more importantly, there's also a forum of women that has been sitting over the past 2 days that will also be making a declaration that will be tabled at the G20 Leaders Summit. Also, on the other hand, the youth have also been taking part at this summit, where they have also been discussing how the youth can be taking this program forward. And of course, I've got a guest joining me now, who is the Secretary to Parliament, Mr. Xolile George. Thank you so much. I know you're quite a very busy man. But in the main, I mean, the issues that are coming out of here is around the issues of a reduction of debt for developing economies. How is that going to happen? And I mean, what has been your takeouts over the past 2 days?
Good morning to all the SABC News viewers. Today we're very excited as the Parliament of South Africa to be hosting the other 20 parliaments that form part of the G20 family. And for the first time in the African soil, South Africa plays the leading role in terms of hosting a gathering of international parliaments that constitute the biggest economies in the world. So indeed, amongst many topics that form part of the main rallying theme for this event, that is about harnessing parliamentary diplomacy for global solidarity, inclusivity and equality. There are many topics to be debated. One of those is what you are referring to deal with issues of sustainability, to deal with issues of vulnerabilities around climate change, but to deal with economic issues, one of those being the issue of debts that many African countries, no doubt, as we know, including the rest of the emerging countries, will form part of this G20, will be debating these issues. They are part of the package of measures that the heads of states will be discussing at the end of November, which, as we know, again, our head of state will be playing host to. Many other heads of state will be here. So it's quite exciting that parliaments, as major decision makers around lawmaking for our countries, will be examining quite a lot of areas that will form part of a package of instruments that must help the countries to start framing what will it take to give effect to some of those decisions that are in the best interest of ensuring balanced growth, balanced economic development, but at the same time tackling structural problems of inequality, underdevelopment and poverty. For us, it becomes much more peculiar as Africa, because when it comes to issues of debt, many countries are trapped in a spiral of debt. So when we look at measures, how do we make sure that debts that is holding back many African countries, we are able to look at what are the measures we can do together to make sure that where countries have major debts, they can be minimized, where they can get better preferential treatment for debt capital market, they can also be assisted to make sure that we remain competitive across the board.
All right, thank you so much. We're going to leave it at that. Xolile George is the Secretary to Parliament.